All right, so welcome back to Whitehouse Farm. Part two for the shock strut install. Um, we have the rear shock struts here, and it is another complete kit ready to install. So it looks like there's two bolts up top and then one at the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead and start diving into this. Let's get the tire off and see what we got going on in there. Alright, so that's going to be a 17 millimeter. So the nut in there is just spinning because it was so rusted. So we're gonna have to figure a way to get that out. Okay, so as you saw, the nut, it was just stripping out inside there. Normally that locks it in there so it doesn't spin, so you can drive the bolt out. And unfortunately I don't have a bolt and nut with me right now, so I'll have to wait till tomorrow, hit up Napa and get, I'm gonna buy two of them because I'm figuring if this one's this way, the other side's probably the same way. And we'll replace both of them. And what we'll do, we'll sawzall on each side. Take this off here. We'll sawzall each side. That way we can just pull the nut and everything right out of there. That's the only way I really see doing it. And yeah, so it is what it is. Okay, so we're back, and fortunately Napa did not carry him, so I had to go to the Nissan dealership, and that is the Nissan part number for the bolts. And same thing for the nuts. Gotta tear this thing apart now. Let me see if I can slap that back together. So that's 01225-00072. So, unfortunately, since that nut down in there, it's stripped out and it's just spinning, we're gonna have to sawzall this off. We're gonna have to cut the whole thing. So, yay! Let's go ahead and get to it. But at least now we got the replacement bolt and nut for it. Alright, so we got that cut now. So now we can go ahead and take that nut out and we'll be ready to take off these top two bolts. Alright, so let's go ahead and get some PB Blast on here and this bolt back here. So I got that loosened up now. All right, there we go. All right, so we got the old one out of there. Obviously older vehicles, a lot of rust and everything. As you see, I had a sawzall the bottom there and get new bolts and nuts, but that's off now. All right, so we got our new strut here, and this one actually came with 2 new nuts, which is good because the other ones were pretty rusty. Had a tough time getting them off, of course. I knew when I was having trouble with the bottom one here, I knew the top weren't gonna be fun either. So, all right, let's go ahead and just do the reverse of what we just did. Let's get this in there and get these nuts up in there. Oh God, I'm tired. All right. So all right, so we'll get these nuts on there. I don't know why it's so funny right now. Oh, maybe because it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay. All right, so we'll get these nuts on there and get the bolt in the bottom and get that secured. So. Don't want to drop my nuts. All right. So. Okay, I'll start one up there. I'll get the other one on. Yes. All right, let's clean these up a little bit. All right. All right. So time to get this lower bolt in. There we go. And we'll get our nut in behind there. should catch. I'll show you really quick. So now we got the nut in there and the bolt, and now we can tighten it up and I'll cinch it right up. Alright, so that is all set. We got our new strut on. It's just 2 top bolts and that 1 bottom bolt. But at least I showed you the worst case scenario. If it's rusted, you got to cut the bolt out, and you got the part numbers for that now for the bottom bolt and nut. And the struts do come with the upper bolts, so you don't need to worry about that. Just make sure you PB blast everything. Try that before cutting. But that's all new. That's all in. I'm going to go ahead and just bust some rust off here, clean this up a little bit, and then we'll get the tire back on. All right, so let's go ahead and start getting this wheel off now. And it is the next morning. It was getting late last night, so I didn't have to want to deal with cutting anything or doing anything crazy. So nice and fresh, kinda. Still having my coffee. Let's get this off. Once again, first thing we're gonna do is start lubing up these nuts and bolts here. So that sure does make life a lot easier when it's not rusted out through here and the nut just rounds out. So that's what happened to the other one. So this one's coming out pretty good. Alright, so now that we got that loose, let's start loosening those bolts up there. Alright, so we got the old one out, and we didn't have to cut anything on this side, thank God. Alright, so we got the new one here. Let's go ahead and get that up in there. All right, so it's all back together. Last thing to do, let's take it for a test drive, see how it does. All right, so I noticed I leveled off. I'm not on an angle like this from having just the new shocks on the front. Yeah, it's actually not bad. It's nice and smooth. I'm leveled out now that I got both front and rear done. Yeah, for the price and for this vehicle, it's perfect. I just needed something to take some of the brunt of all the bumps and stuff, because those old struts were shot. So yeah, this works for me. And total for all four, 200 bucks. Yeah, you can't beat that. So yeah, as you saw on the passenger side, it's a little harder if it's rusty and stuff, then you have to cut bolts and stuff. But 12 bucks, I got a set of new bolts and nuts for both sides, so not too bad. And I didn't have to mess with the driver's side, thank God. So yeah, we're all set here. Hope you guys like, enjoy, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys. All right, so one last thing to add, since the struts and shocks are part of your structural, you may need to get an alignment. I actually noticed when I got back from the ride that, actually while riding, I'm a little bit kiltered to the right there. You know, it's not too bad, but it's enough for me to notice, and I don't want to wear out my tires. So unfortunately, I'm gonna bring it in, get an alignment done on it. Just because I don't want to start wearing out my tires all uneven and stuff. So that is one thing to take into consideration. You could do everything else, and you might be able to do the alignment too. But yeah, one last note. All right, guys. See you on the next one. Bye. You can't say goodbye without saying goodbye to me. All right, Olaf. We'll see you on the next one. All right, bye, Obo.
Hi, guys.